Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Gemma Joan, and tonight we're talking about shifting the power structure from our head, from our thoughts, from the mind centered consciousness into the heart centered consciousness. Because what happens when we're moving through the awakening process, we start to disconnect from our deep attachment to the ego. We start to release our beliefs about ourselves as an ego centered being, and we start to really resonate more deeply with a much higher vibration. And that higher vibration is a heart centered vibration. It's the heart centered vibration that connects us with all of life and with higher consciousness. And so we start to have this experience of this higher connection and this higher vibration, but something that can bring us back and pull us back into that ego consciousness is the habits of the mind. Because even though we may be able to see that the ego and the attachments and the identity are all illusions, we still feel ourselves being pulled back into that reality, even if we don't want to believe it, even if we know that there's another way to be. And that's the habit of the mind that pulls us back. All of those habitual thought patterns, all of the old programming, all of the old beliefs, they pull us back in because they have become such a big part of our reality and how our mind works. And so these habits start to creep back in, and we can get really frustrated with the way that the mind is constantly lowering our vibration with the incessant thoughts and doubts and fears and just the constant dialogue that is distracting us from what we're really feeling deep inside. And it's telling us, the mind is telling us to feel a different way than we're actually feeling because of situations that present itself or triggers. And so it becomes a bit of a battle between the heart and the mind. And so the work of really becoming awakened and really developing a deep relationship with ourselves is about taking the power back from the mind, back from the ego, and returning it to the heart, returning it to our authentic selves. And this is something that takes deep commitment. We have to really, really want this, not just a little bit, not just as an idea. We have to really 100% be dedicated and want to shift into that place of the heart, want to know ourselves as divine beings, want to know who we really are and how much love we're actually capable of feeling. However, like I said, the mind plays its old tricks and plays its old programmings, and the heart, um, when we sink into the heart, it can be painful at first because there's so much there that we've been avoiding for so long. And so we may move into the heart for a minute and then be like, oh shit, I'm out of here. This is way too much. I'm going back to the mind. And so, we have to watch that and really be aware of how the mind is pulling us back, and also be aware of how we're avoiding any pain that we may be feeling in the heart. Because to really connect with that amazing power that we have in our heart, we have to move through that pain. And so, like I said, this is when the dedication and the commitment comes in, that we stay in that pain for a minute until we can see through it, or until we can do the healing that needs to be done to move it out of the way and to fully connect with who we are. We often have this idea, even when we have a deep dedication to our healing and to living a heart centered life, sometimes our mind can tell us, yeah, well, I will, I'll believe it when I see it. That's one of the mind's favorite programs. But actually, we have to believe it in order to see it. We have to believe it and know it. And we can't believe it with our mind. Our mind isn't going to let us believe in the perfection of the universe, in the perfection of ourselves, in the stillness and peace that we're capable of living in. The mind and the ego has no investment in that. But the heart does believe it. The heart believes it on a really deep level because that's what the heart is. That's exactly what the heart is. So, if we can drop into that belief system of the heart, bypass all of the old beliefs of the mind, and drop into that feeling state that we know is capable, then we can bypass the tricks of the heart or of the mind. Sorry, bypass the tricks of the mind, and from that heart-centered belief we can call bullshit on our mind, and that's what we really have to do is as we watch the tricks of the mind, call bullshit on it and look for a deeper throat. Look for a deeper the deeper meaning behind it. So the heart is not a place of words, and I think this communication between the mind and the heart can be tricky because the mind has the words and the heart has the feelings. And so, as we fine tune our connection with the heart and as we clear the mind of all of those limiting beliefs, then the two can work together and the two can be in sync because the heart has the largest electromagnetic field in our body. It's, I forget how many times larger than the electromagnetic field of the mind, but it's huge and it encompasses our entire body. And so when we move into that space of the heart, anything is possible. And it does take practice and it takes patience and it takes willingness to look at our pain and to face the fears that are keeping us from really going there. But once we do, we find a place that is full of us. It's full of our authenticity. It's full of everything that we came here to experience, to live. And we can see from the heart who it is that we truly are. And so making that deep commitment to believing in experiencing our truth from the heart, then we will begin to see it on a daily basis. And so, if you're struggling with this and this resonates with you, and you really have made that commitment to yourself, but the mind keeps getting in the way, then please reach out to me and we can talk and see if the work that I do with my clients and the program that's designed to do just this, move the power structure from the mind to the heart, from the ego to the authentic self, then we can talk and see if it would be a good fit for you. So I'm sending so much love to you all, asking you all to practice it tonight. Just sink in and feel what that heart-centered consciousness, that heart-centered awareness feels like. And and ask yourself as you sink into that heart-centered space, ask the heart what it really wants. And just wait for the answer, whatever it is. Let it come from the heart and not come from the mind. And if you want to share it here in the comments, that would be awesome. And if you have any questions, please ask. All right, sending you all so much love, and I will see you in the Facebook group.